Wa alaikumus. Salam, my beloved brothers and sisters. There are moments in life when the people you thought would always be there aren't. A friend drifts away, a loved one is taken by death, or the very people you trusted most let you down. You walk through the noise of the world, but inside it feels painfully silent. You begin to wonder who will understand you, who will stay with you through every chapter, not just the happy ones, but the messy, uncertain, and difficult ones too. My dear brothers and sisters, there is one who has never left you. He was there when you took your first breath, and he will be there when you take your last. He watched over you when you were a helpless child, guided you when you were lost, and carried you through storms you didn't think you could survive. Even in your loneliest moments, when no one knew the tears you cried at night, he knew every drop. Imagine walking through life with the certainty that you are never truly alone, that your companion is closer to you than your own jugular vein, that he knows the words you cannot say and the thoughts you cannot share. That is not just a comfort, it is a lifeline, and it is yours right now if you choose to hold on to it. This is the truth that can turn fear into courage, despair into hope, and emptiness into peace. Allah is your forever companion, and He will never let go of you. There will be times in life when the people we thought would stay by our side begin to drift away. Sometimes it happens slowly. A friend stops calling, a family member grows distant, a companion moves on to other priorities. Other times it happens suddenly, a betrayal you never expected, a death that rips someone from your life in an instant, a change in circumstances that pulls you apart from those you love. In those moments, the loneliness can feel like a heavy blanket pressing down on your heart. You start to wonder who will be there for you when life gets hard, who will stand by you when the world turns cold, who will still care when your mistakes and flaws are laid bare. The truth is, human companionship is limited by nature. People are bound by their own needs, weaknesses, and circumstances. They may love you deeply, but still fail you at times. They may want to support you, but be unable to, because they are dealing with their own struggles. They may promise to be there forever, but the reality of life is that no one can physically remain by your side forever. Illness, distance, misunderstandings, and even death can separate you from the people you hold dearest. It is part of the test of this world that no relationship with creation is completely permanent or perfect. But in the midst of that reality, there is one who has never left you for a single moment. From the time you were a silent soul in your mother's womb, he was with you. When you took your first unsteady breaths as a newborn, he sustained you. When you stumbled as a child and scraped your knees, when you cried in secret because of fears you couldn't explain, when you felt lost in the crowd and invisible to the world, he saw you, heard you, and knew you better than you knew yourself. Even in moments when you forgot him, he did not forget you. Even when you walked away from him, he still provided for you, protected you, and gave you countless chances to return. There is a quiet, unshakable comfort in knowing that the one who controls the universe is the same one who watches over your every step. His companionship does not depend on your mood, your social circle, or your circumstances. You don't need to book an appointment to speak to him. You don't need to worry about being judged unfairly or misunderstood. He knows the words you cannot say, the wounds you hide, the thoughts that keep you awake at night. He knows the version of you that no one else has ever seen, and he still loves you enough to guide you, forgive you, and lift you when you fall. Life will always have moments where you feel the absence of people, but those moments are often the ones that awaken you to the presence of Allah. Sometimes He allows people to leave so that you will turn your heart fully toward Him, free from the distractions of relying on others. Sometimes He removes the noise so you can hear His guidance more clearly. The pain of losing someone's companionship can become the door through which you discover the sweetness of His companionship, a sweetness that does not fade with time, that does not waver with circumstance, and that no force on earth can take away from you from the moment you open your eyes in the morning until you close them at night. There is one who never leaves your side, In times of joy, he is there, showering you with blessings you recognize and countless others you do not. In times of difficulty, he is there, holding your heart steady even when everything around you feels uncertain. The seasons of life will change. There will be moments when the sun feels warm on your face, and moments when the storm clouds block every trace of light. But through them all, his presence is constant. People may stand with you in one season and disappear in the next. Circumstances may lift you up one day and bring you down the next. But his companionship is not like human companionship. It is not bound by mood, convenience, or proximity. In moments when your heart is heavy and your hands feel empty, he is closer than the pulse in your neck, knowing every unspoken word and every hidden tear. When you walk into a room full of people, but still feel invisible, he sees you. When you laugh outwardly while your heart quietly aches, he knows. When you are unsure which path to take, he guides you in ways you may not even realize until much later. His companionship is not just a presence. It is an active care, a constant attention to your every need, physical and spiritual. It is easy to forget this when life is busy, when the demands of work, family, and personal responsibilities crowd your mind. You might begin to lean more on the people around you than on him, assuming that your sense of security depends on how others treat you. But then something happens, a misunderstanding, a betrayal, a sudden absence, that reminds you of the fragility of human relationships. It is in those moments when others cannot or will not stand beside you that you discover the depth of his companionship. He does not withdraw when you are at your lowest. He does not grow impatient when you repeat the same prayer over and over. He does not keep a record of your past mistakes to throw back at you when you come to him again. Through every chapter of your life, his companionship is steady. When you were a child, he guided the hands that fed you and clothed you. When you were a teenager searching for your place in the world, he guarded you from dangers you could not see. When you faced heartbreak, he softened the blow in ways that allowed you to heal. When you succeeded, he protected you from arrogance and reminded you to be grateful. Even the moments you thought were coincidences, the unexpected help, the narrow escape, the sudden clarity, were not accidents. They were signs of his constant care. This companionship is not just for times of hardship. It is for every breath you take. It is there in the quiet moments of reflection, in the laughter shared with loved ones, in the peace you feel when you do something purely for his sake. It is there in the times you remember him and in the times you forget him, though the sweetness of it is most deeply felt when you turn your heart fully toward him and acknowledge that every moment of your life has been lived under his watchful mercy. There is a unique comfort in knowing that no matter what you go through, you have someone to turn to who will never misunderstand you, never grow tired of you, and never walk away. This is the companionship of Allah, and it is unlike anything else you will ever experience. People, even those who love you, have limits. They can listen to your problems, but they cannot truly carry your pain. They can encourage you, but they cannot always fix what is broken inside you. They can stand beside you for a while, but eventually they must tend to their own lives. But Allah's companionship is not bound by these limits. He is with you in the quiet hours when no one answers your calls, in the late night moments when you wipe away tears alone, in the restless mornings when you feel the weight of a new day pressing down on you before it even begins. When you remember him in these moments, when you call out to him with sincerity, the heart begins to feel lighter. His companionship is not just about being present. It is about actively guiding, protecting, and strengthening you from within. In times of hardship, remembering him can turn fear into patience, confusion into clarity, and despair into hope. It is not always that the situation changes instantly, but your heart changes in a way that makes you able to endure and see things differently. This is why those who are closest to Allah often have a calmness in their eyes even in the midst of storms. They know they are not facing anything alone. This connection is not limited to moments of pain. In times of joy, remembering Allah makes your happiness deeper and purer because you recognize the source of every blessing. When you eat, you remember that it is He who provided the food. When you succeed, you remember it is He who gave you the ability and opportunity. This awareness turns everyday experiences into moments of worship and gratitude. Instead of clinging to people for validation, you begin to turn to Allah for approval, because His pleasure is worth more than the fleeting praise of anyone else. There is also a strength that comes from knowing that Allah is aware of the entire truth of your situation. People may misjudge you, assume things about you, or even speak against you unfairly, but Allah knows the reality of your intentions, your efforts, and your struggles. This knowledge frees you from the exhausting need to prove yourself to everyone. You can move forward with sincerity, knowing that your worth is not determined by human opinion, but by the one who created you and sees every hidden detail of your life. His companionship is the most reliable anchor you will ever have. When you hold on to it, life's waves may still rock you, but they cannot drown you. When you forget it, even the calmest waters can feel unsafe. This is why remembrance is not just a spiritual act, it is a lifeline. Every time you remember Allah, through prayer, dhikr, Quran, or even silent reflection, you are strengthening that bond. And the more you strengthen it, the more you will realize that you were never walking alone, not even for a moment, because His presence is the one constant thread woven through every season, every trial, and every joy of your life. Building an unshakable bond with Allah begins with sincerity. It is the quiet intention in your heart that you want Him to be the center of your life, that you want His love and closeness more than you want the approval or attention of anyone else. This kind of bond is not formed overnight. It grows over time through acts of worship, gratitude, and trust, repeated consistently until they become part of who you are. Every prayer you make on time, every word of dhikr you utter, every moment you choose patience over anger, every instance where you forgive instead of retaliating, all of these are threads that strengthen the connection between you and your Lord. Gratitude plays a powerful role in deepening this bond. When you pause to reflect on how much Allah has given you, from the smallest daily comforts to the life-changing blessings, your heart naturally leans toward Him. Gratitude is not only about saying Alhamdulillah when something good happens, it is also about trusting His wisdom when things don't go your way. A grateful heart sees His mercy in both the gifts and the tests, because it understands that everything from Him carries a purpose. This perspective keeps your heart attached to Him even in hardship, knowing that He is never unjust and that His plan is always greater than what you can see. Trust is another pillar of this unshakable bond. It means handing over your worries, fears, and uncertainties to Allah, fully believing that He will take care of you in the best way. Trust is not passive, it is an active surrender. You take the steps you can, but your heart rests in the knowledge that the outcome is in His hands. This trust removes the constant anxiety of trying to control every detail of your life, because you know the one controlling it loves you more than you can imagine. And with every experience where you see His plan unfold in ways that surpass your own ideas, your trust grows stronger, making your connection to Him even more resilient. Consistency is what binds all of this together. An unshakable bond with Allah is built not in grand gestures done occasionally, but in small acts of worship done regularly with sincerity. Reading a few verses of Quran each day, remembering Him during your commute, making dua before sleeping. These are the daily investments that keep your relationship with Him alive and thriving. They may feel small in the moment, but over time they form a foundation that can withstand the heaviest storms. This bond also deepens when you make space for moments of quiet connection with Him. In a world full of noise and distractions, intentionally setting aside time to simply sit, reflect, and speak to Allah from the heart is powerful. You don't need perfect words or a formal setting, you just need honesty. Telling him your fears, your dreams, your regrets, and your gratitude strengthens the intimacy of your relationship. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes to turn to him first, whether in celebration or in crisis, until he truly becomes the one you rely on above all else. Living each day with the awareness that Allah is closer than anyone else transforms the way you move through life. It changes the way you think, speak, and act, because you begin to see every moment as an opportunity to connect with him. This awareness is not simply a thought that crosses your mind occasionally. It becomes a state of the heart, a constant remembrance that he is watching over you, guiding you, and recording every intention and deed. When you wake up in the morning, you recognize that it is he who gave you life again after sleep, and you start your day with gratitude. When you step outside, you know that every person you meet and every event you encounter is part of his design for you. This mindset turns ordinary routines into acts of worship, because you carry the consciousness of his presence into everything you do. This awareness creates a deep sense of accountability. You become more careful with your words, knowing that every statement is heard by the one who knows what is in your heart. You become more mindful of your actions, not out of fear of people's opinions, but out of love and respect for the one who sees all. It becomes easier to resist temptations, because you are aware that no corner of the earth is hidden from his sight. This is not about living in constant fear, but about living with constant clarity, knowing that the one who loves you most also knows you best, and you do not want to disappoint him. At the same time, this awareness brings immense comfort. In moments when you feel abandoned, misunderstood, or overlooked, you remember that Allah knows your true intentions, your silent struggles, and the weight you carry that no one else sees. When you face hardship, this closeness becomes a source of strength, because you understand that you are never truly alone. You begin to view challenges not as signs of abandonment, but as opportunities to draw nearer to him, to call upon him more earnestly, and to rely on him more completely. This closeness also transforms your relationship with time. You stop delaying good deeds because you understand that every breath is a gift that could be your last. You find it harder to waste time on things that pull you away from Allah, and easier to invest your energy in actions that bring you closer to him. Even the smallest acts, smiling at someone, offering a kind word, giving a small amount in charity, become significant when done with the awareness that he is watching and rewarding you. Living with this constant awareness also shapes the way you experience joy. When something good happens, your first thought is to thank Allah, recognizing him as the source of that blessing. This gratitude deepens your happiness and keeps it pure, because you are not relying on fleeting circumstances to feel fulfilled. You begin to taste the sweetness of faith, the quiet, steady peace that comes from knowing that no matter what changes around you, your relationship with Allah remains a constant anchor. The world may shift, people may come and go, but his nearness never changes, and that knowledge becomes the steady flame that lights your way through every season of life.